Now we shall study the infectious diseases in a bit details. The infectious diseases are caused by infectious agents. We have already discussed this. The infectious agents can be bacteria, can be fungus, can be virus, can be protozoans, or it can be worms. So these 5 classes of animal kingdom, which we have already learnt in the diversity of living organisms chapter, constitutes the various types of diseases. So let us look into it. The virus causing diseases are common cold, influenza and AIDS. AIDS means acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. Acquired immunodeficiency syndrome means AIDS. Bacterial causing diseases are tuberculosis, cholera and typhoid. These diseases are caused by various classes of bacteria. Then you have fungus. All skin diseases are caused by fungus. Then you have protozoans, malaria, sleeping sickness are some of the diseases that are caused by protozoans. There are name of other protozoans. Worms, elephantiasis, ascariasis are different diseases that are caused by worms. Now the question comes that what is the importance of studying these infectious agents? Why we need to know the infectious agents? We need to know these infectious agents for the mode of treatment. If we are able to identify that this particular disease is caused by a bacteria, then our mode of medication will be something else. If we find that a person is suffering from malaria, we will not treat the person as we will treat for the person suffering from cholera. Or if we find that the person is suffering from ascariasis, our mode of treatment will not be like that of the mode of treatment for viral disease, because of the fact that bacteria and virus, they replicate proliferously when they come inside the host cell. But when it comes to worm, they are not so fast reproducing. So that means what I can say is that the worms are easy to be detected and killed as compared to the bacteria and virus, because the speed of reproduction is less. Also I can say that the virus comes into being living only when it is inside the host cell. Outside it is dead. That is why sometimes virus is said to be the bridge between living and dead, because outside the body of the host cell the virus is dead, and when it comes inside the body of the host, that is the body of the affected person, it becomes living. So bacteria in the way to be killed will not be same as that of virus, because both biological properties are different. Let us look into an example. Look into this. Antibiotics are effective for bacterial diseases. We take or we are prescribed antibiotics when we suffer from bacterial diseases. Now why? This mode of treatment comes into action, you can see now. When a bacteria enters into a host cell, it starts to make a cell wall around it. The bacteria, after entering into host cell, makes what? Cell wall around it. Why? To be protected from the immune system of the human beings. Clear? Now, after the making of cell wall, it divides proliferously. Now, if antibiotic like penicillin is given to an individual suffering from bacterial disease, the penicillin intervenes the process of cell wall making. What is that? It obstructs the process of making of cell wall. When it obstructs the process of making of cell wall, bacteria cannot make the cell wall, and the bacteria, when cannot make the cell wall, will be easily killed by the human immune system. But human cells may be also affected. You can ask, but human cells have no cell wall. Human cells are animal cells. They have no cell wall. So human cell have no cell wall. So no adverse effect on human cells. Antibiotics selectively attacks the bacterial cells and kill it. Now comes, why not other group of infectious agents? The virus has no such mechanism of making cell wall, or fungus has no such mechanism of making cell wall. So when they are not making any cell wall, when they are not manufacturing any cell wall, what the penicillin will obstruct? The penicillin cannot obstruct anything, and it proliferates, the virus proliferates, and it has also no effect on viral cell. So that is why the mode of treatment is important. For bacterial cell, antibiotics is the best way to combat with them. But for other group of microorganisms, the mode of treatment varies. Mode of treatment is dependent upon the biological property of that particular microorganism. I think I'm clear. Say for example, you are suffering from common cold and you are also suffering from that of a bacterial disease I noted beforehand, say typhoid. In both the cases, you are taking antibiotic, but common cold will have no effect on that, but the bacterial disease will be healed. I'm clear that this is the reason why we need to know about the infectious agents, and infectious agents are important. So the next topic after you came to know about the infectious agents is the means of spread, means how the diseases are being spread. The diseases which spread from an infected individual to a non-infected or healthy individual by means of any process is called communicable disease. We have already discussed while I was teaching you the types of diseases, infectious and non-infectious, that infectious diseases are communicable. They can be communicated from one individual to another individual by the help of the entry of that causing microorganism. Means from the affected individual or infected individual, the microorganism will go to the healthy individual through various types of means. The first means is air. The air is a very big source. The air is a very big source for the microorganisms to spread. Diseases that are spread by means of air are common cold and pneumonia. Okay, how? When a affected or infected person sneeze or cough, the saliva comes out from their mouth. The saliva form droplet nuclei. They form droplet nuclei when they come in contact with the air. Okay, a diagram in your book shows the distance of the movement. The size of the droplets, if they are large enough, they will fall faster. Means say I am sneezing here, the large droplet will settle down here, but the smaller droplets will go up to this portion and then form droplet nuclei with the air and ventilate, and it can travel a larger distance. Okay, but smaller ones or smaller salivary droplets being heavier deposits faster in a lesser distance. I think I am very clear about it. So you can understand that more close you are to the infected person, there is a more chance for you being affected with that particular infectious disease. Okay, the next mode of transport is water, and water causing diseases are like cholera. See water, I have written here food and water, food and water. So food and water is a very big source for the diseases to pass. How come? Say in a community there is a person suffering from cholera. The cholera causing microorganism can deposit in water from the infected organism. Say he has drank water and rest of the water he has thrown, and that thrown water is mixed with the water of the well from where every member of the community takes the water. So definitely the members are very proximal to that type of disease. So water is a very big means for the cholera disease to flow. Food is also. The food, say the food eaten by me, I am an infected person, I have left that, and you are eating that left out food, or I have thrown that by mistake, it mixed up with the food of some another person, and the disease will pass. So you can understand how air and food and water act as a means. Next one is kissing, sexual and physical contact or direct contact. When two partners kiss each other, or when two partners have a sexual contact, or when two persons have a handshake, a physical contact, there is a possibility that the microorganisms can pass. And one of the disease that is caused by sexual contact is AIDS, acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. When an infected partner have sexual contact with an affected partner, there is a possibility that this disease can pass. Even when the mother who is a patient of AIDS and she feeds her child through the milk, the disease can pass. Also, if an infected AIDS patient has undergone shaving and by mistake there is a cut and the blood has deposited on the blade of the shaving kit, and that shaving kit is used for an healthy individual, and by any means the blood enters into the body of the healthy individual, there will be the transmission of the disease. So blood is a very big source for the transmission of the disease, that is AIDS. So sexual contact, kissing and physical contact like handshakes can be a source for transfer of disease. Also there can be indirect contact, like I am a diseased person, I have worn a shirt, a pant, and that same shirt and pant is shared by a healthy person. Or I am a diseased person, I have eaten on a plate and that plate is being used by another person, the disease can pass. That's the indirect contact. Then there will be means like mosquito and insects. They are called vectors. Mind it, they are called vectors, and the biggest vector is mosquito. You know, malaria is caused by vector, that is the mosquito female Anopheles. Though it is caused by a protozoan, we discussed, but it is spread from the infected individual to a healthy individual by means of mosquito like female Anopheles, and they act as vectors, means carrier of the disease, And the last point is rabid animal. Rabid animals are the biggest example of rabid animals are the dogs. The dogs can be infected by the disease called rabies. They can be infected by the disease called rabies. And if the dog rabies cuts a healthy individual, bites a healthy individual, then there is a full chance that the healthy individual may cause or may get affected from that particular type of disease, that is rabies. So let us recapitulate once again. What are the means of spread? Air is a means of spread. Through the sneezing or coughing, the droplets of saliva containing the microorganism can pass from healthy individual to from affected individuals to healthy individuals, and that can be droplet nuclei for smaller salivary particles, and heavier ones deposit earlier, and more close you are to the affected person, you can get the disease. Water and food can be a source for passing of the disease. Sexual contact, kissing and physical contact like handshakes can be a source of the disease. Indirect contact like wearing the dress of the affected person, using the plate of that affected person can cause a transmission of the disease. Vectors like mosquito and insects can cause the disease transmission from infected person to healthy persons. And rabid animal, who is itself an affected individual, can bite an healthy individual and transmit the disease. The next topic that we are going to learn is organ specific and tissue specific manifestations.